The moment you turn 80, everything quietly changes. There's a moment quiet, unceremonious when you cross into your 80s. No fireworks, no marching band. Just you and your body, your mind, your memories, your breath. And suddenly, the world feels different. Not worse, not broken, just different. Your legs don't move as quickly. Your thoughts take longer to land. Conversations feel deeper, but smaller. Your phone rings less. Your calendar empties, while your inner life fills up. You begin to notice what others miss. The weight of silence. The warmth of a good memory. The freedom of not needing to rush anymore. And then it hits you. Aging isn't about giving up. It's about waking up. But let's not sugarcoat it. Turning 80 comes with changes. Some are gentle. Others catch you off guard. Some are physical. Some emotional. All of them are real. In this journey, we're diving into 5 changes that happen after 80, whether you're ready for them or not. But this isn't a list of losses. It's a roadmap for living stronger, deeper, and more intentionally. You'll learn what's happening to your body, your mind, your relationships, your senses, and, most importantly, your soul. And you'll walk away not only with understanding, but with tools to navigate these shifts with grace, strength, and self-respect. Because aging isn't the end of something. It's the beginning of something more powerful than youth ever was. Perspective, clarity, freedom, legacy. So take a deep breath. This is not a warning. This is your invitation to embrace the beauty of becoming 80, fully awake. Change. 1. When strength fades, and how to take it back at 80. Let's face it, turning 80 changes the game. One day, you realize climbing the stairs takes more effort. Getting out of a chair feels heavier. You're not lazy. You're not doing anything wrong. Your body is simply evolving. And one of the most profound changes? A steady decline in physical strength and energy. But here's the truth no one tells you. This decline is natural. Yes, but it's not final. What's happening inside? The biology of losing strength. Behind the scenes, aging begins to chip away at your muscle mass through a process called sarcopenia. Over the years, you lose strength not all at once, but steadily. By age 80, many people have lost up to half their muscle strength compared to their younger selves. Bones become more fragile, joints stiffen. Your heart doesn't pump as efficiently, and hormones like testosterone and growth hormone drop, leaving you with less energy to draw from. It's like your body is trying to run on a lower battery setting. How it feels? Real. Life signs you're slowing down. You tire more quickly during daily tasks. Balance becomes shakier. Recovery from even mild exertion takes longer. Falls feel closer and more dangerous. And with each small decline, independence starts to feel a little less guaranteed. But here's the kicker. This doesn't have to be your story. How to fight back. Aging strong isn't a fantasy. You may not have the energy of a 40-year-old, but you can build strength at any age, even 80. 1. Train for strength. Yes, you can. Light resistance training like using bands, hand weights, or even your own body weight can restore muscle, improve balance, and protect your bones. No gym? No problem. Chair exercises, wall push-ups, and step-ups at home are powerful. 2. Move every day. Consistency beats intensity. Walking, stretching, or practicing Tai Chi keeps your joints fluid and your blood moving. Motion truly is lotion for your body, your brain, and your spirit. 3. Eat to rebuild. Your muscles need protein, not just calories. Add more lean meats, legumes, eggs, and fish. And don't forget calcium, vitamin D, and B12, all essential for bones, strength, and energy. Stay hydrated, too. Even mild dehydration worsens fatigue. 4. Prioritize recovery. Sleep is healing. Rest days matter. At 80, recovery isn't optional, it's how you stay in the game. Listen to your body, and don't rush. Healing takes longer, but it's still possible. The bottom line, strength is still yours. Your body has changed, but you haven't lost your power. You've simply been asked to use it differently. Every rep, every stretch, every nutritious meal is a message to yourself. I'm still here. I still matter. I'm not done. Because you're not. Change 2. When your mind slows down but your wisdom speaks louder. There comes a point in life when your mind doesn't race the way it used to. You pause a little longer before finding a word. A name floats just out of reach. Conversations require a bit more focus. And multitasking feels like climbing a hill instead of coasting down one. At 80, your cognitive processing naturally slows down. But let's be very clear about one thing. Slower doesn't mean weaker. It means deeper, more deliberate, and often more powerful. The science. What's really going on in your brain? As we age, certain brain functions like processing speed and working memory start to decline. It's not a disease, it's biology. The brain's connections fire a little slower. Blood flow decreases, and some regions shrink slightly over time. But this isn't a collapse, it's a recalibration. The part of the brain responsible for vocabulary, reasoning, and emotional intelligence that often stays strong or even sharpens. That's why older adults may take longer to process, but they often reach wiser, more thoughtful conclusions. How it shows up in daily life. You take longer to recall names or details. Reading or learning new technology feels more mentally taxing. You may feel overwhelmed by too much information at once. You forget why you walked into a room, but remember a childhood memory with crystal clarity. This shift can feel frustrating, especially in a fast-paced world that values speed over depth. But here's the truth. There's no expiration date on intelligence, only on how it shows up. What you can do to stay mentally sharp. Slower doesn't mean passive. Your brain still wants to grow, it just needs the right kind of fuel. 1. Keep learning. Keep growing. Learning something new, whether it's a language, a craft, or a skill, stimulates your brain like fertilizer on a garden. It doesn't have to be academic, it just has to challenge you. Read books. Play strategy games. Try memory exercises. Learn to draw. Cook a new dish. Feed curiosity, not perfection. 2. Stay social. Conversations are cognitive gold. When you talk, listen, laugh, and share stories, you activate dozens of brain regions. Social isolation, on the other hand, is one of the biggest risk factors for accelerated mental decline. Make the call. Join the group. Have the chat. It all counts. 3. Fuel your brain. Your mind runs on nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish or flaxseed. Antioxidants, berries, greens, and B vitamins are essential to support focus and memory. Hydration is key. Dehydration can dull your thinking faster than you realize. And don't forget sleep deep. Uninterrupted rest clears toxins from the brain and helps lock in memories. 4. Manage stress like a pro. Chronic stress shrinks the very parts of your brain you need to think clearly. Meditation, nature walks, breathing, exercise, even just sitting quietly for 10 minutes can reduce mental fog and help you regain clarity. The bottom line. Thoughtfulness is a superpower. You might take longer to respond, but what you say carries more weight. That's not slowness, that's substance. Your mind may not be as fast, but it is seasoned, rich with perspective, and full of lived experience. You've earned the right to take your time, and when you speak, people should listen. Because wisdom doesn't shout, it speaks softly and powerfully. Change 3. Fewer friends, deeper bonds, redefining connection. After 80. There's something quiet that happens after 80, not tragic, not necessarily sad, just different. Your social circle begins to shrink. The invitations slow down. The phone rings less often. You notice that you're spending more time with a handful of people, sometimes only one or two. And it's easy to wonder, is this loneliness? Or is it something else entirely? Here's the truth. Smaller social circles are a natural part of aging. But they aren't a loss, they're a refinement. Why it happens and why it's normal. Aging comes with inevitable shifts. People move away. Friends pass on. Health and energy levels fluctuate. Even the desire to keep up with a large group starts to fade. Big gatherings feel exhausting. Shallow small talk loses its charm. And so, little by little, your world narrows, but not necessarily in a bad way. Instead of 50 acquaintances, you might find yourself holding on to 5 solid friendships. And instead of constant contact, you begin to savor quieter, more meaningful moments. This isn't failure, it's evolution. But is it loneliness? Or is it simplicity? There's a difference between being alone and feeling lonely. Loneliness is when you crave connection and feel its absence. But solitude chosen, peaceful, intentional can be deeply fulfilling. Many older adults report feeling less socially anxious, more emotionally grounded, and more content with fewer but deeper relationships. In fact, psychologists have found that after midlife, people naturally start focusing on quality over quantity in relationships. This shift actually boosts emotional well-being and reduces stress. How to nurture connection without burning out. You don't need to be everywhere or talk to everyone. You just need real connection, and that takes intention, not volume. 1. Focus on the few who matter. Instead of spreading your energy thin, invest it in those who show up consistently. The ones who listen. The ones who make you laugh. The ones who bring peace, not drama. Text them. Call them. Share a cup of coffee, even if it's over Zoom. True friendship isn't about frequency. It's about depth. 2. Use technology to stay close. You don't need to master TikTok or go viral. But FaceTime, WhatsApp, or even a group chat can keep you plugged into the lives of your children, grandchildren, and old friends who live far away. Connection today doesn't require a carrot, just needs Wi-Fi and a bit of patience. 3. Try new circles, gently. It's never too late to meet someone who gets you. Consider joining small interest groups, book clubs, gardening circles, senior walking groups. You don't need to network. Just show up and be open. Shared interests often lead to organic connection, especially when you're not chasing approval. 4. Protect your energy. Not every connection deserves to stay. It's okay to let go of relationships that drain you. Protect your peace. Prioritize relationships that give back as much as you give out. The bottom line: small circles, big hearts. After 80, your social life might look quieter. But that doesn't mean it's empty. In fact, it might be more authentic, honest, and soul-nourishing than ever before. This is the season where you don't have to impress anyone. You've earned the right to be selective, to pour your time into people who see you, know you, and love you exactly as you are. Your world may be smaller, but the love inside it, deeper than ever. Change. 4. When the world grows quieter, dimmer, softer navigating, sensory decline with grace. It happens so subtly, you almost don't notice it at first. You lean in closer to hear what someone's saying. The print on a menu seems smaller than it used to. Your favorite meal doesn't have the same flavor. Scents that once brought you memories feel faint or even gone. This isn't your imagination. It's part of what naturally unfolds after a slow decline in the senses that once helped you experience the world so vividly. But just like the other changes in aging, it's not the end of joy. It's simply a new way of perceiving it. The body's sensors, changing with age. The human body is equipped with extraordinary tools: eyes that take in color and motion, ears that capture music and voices, taste buds that savor, and noses that unlock memory. But these tools, like any instrument, wear with time. 1. Hearing. Age-related hearing loss, called presbycusis, typically begins with difficulty picking up high-frequency sounds. Conversations in crowded rooms become harder to follow. Voices may sound muffled. You might ask people to repeat themselves or turn the TV volume up louder than before. 2. Vision. Sight also fades subtly. Low-light vision declines. Colors lose their vibrancy. Reading becomes more difficult without strong lighting or magnification. And conditions like cataracts, glaucoma, or macular degeneration can further limit clarity and depth perception. 3. Taste and smell. These two senses often decline together, impacting not just enjoyment, but nutrition and safety. You might find food bland. You may not smell something burning. As taste dulls, some people overseason with salt or sugar, which can create health issues. But sensory loss isn't just physical, it's deeply emotional. It can feel like the world is pulling away, even when you're still right here. How it affects daily life and why it matters. Losing parts of your sensory experience affects more than just convenience. It can impact communication. Mishearing people can lead to confusion or withdrawal. Mobility. Poor vision can increase fall risk, especially in dim lighting. Nutrition. Diminished taste can lead to poor appetite or malnourishment. Safety. Reduced smell might prevent you from noticing gas leaks, spoiled food, or smoke. And most importantly, it can slowly disconnect you from the textures, sounds, and flavors that once brought daily pleasure. But that doesn't mean you have to fade with it. There's so much you can do to adapt, thrive, and re-engage. Simple adjustments that make a big difference. 1. Get your senses checked regularly. Schedule annual hearing and vision tests, even if you feel fine. Many changes are gradual and go unnoticed until they cause real issues. Early intervention can help maintain independence longer. 2. Embrace assistive technology. Hearing aids today are smaller and more advanced than ever. Glasses, magnifiers, extra bright reading lamps, screen readers, even motion sensing lighting, these aren't signs of weakness. They're tools for empowerment. 3. Enhance flavor. Naturally. Rather than defaulting to salt or sugar, amplify meals with herbs, citrus, garlic, vinegar, and spices. Texture also matters. Think crisp, creamy, crunchitos stimulate pleasure from food even when flavor perception dims. 4. Communicate clearly. Tell your loved ones about your sensory changes. Ask them to speak more slowly, turn toward you when talking, or write things down if needed. Connection doesn't have to be perfected. just needs to be intentional. 5. Modify your environment. Improve lighting in hallways and bathrooms. Add color contrast to stairs or rugs. Use visual labels on containers. Small changes make daily life easier and much safer. The bottom line, you're still connected. Yes, your senses may soften, but your soul hasn't. You can still feel deeply. You can still engage. You can still be moved by a song, a smell, a gentle touch, a voice. This stage isn't about losing the world. It's about rediscovering it with new awareness through the senses you still have, and through the people and practices that light you up from within. The world may get a little quieter, but you don't have to disappear with it. Change 5. Slowing down to look within the rise of meaning after 80. Something remarkable happens as you enter your 80s, not just in your body or mind, but in your soul. You start to see life through a different lens. The race for achievement quiets. The pressure to prove yourself fades, and in that stillness, a new focus emerges, zone that's deeper, softer, and far more powerful. Meaning, reflection, legacy. This is no longer about getting more done. It's about understanding why it mattered and what remains when the doing is done. A natural shift toward the inner life. Aging tends to bring a clarity that youth can't afford. The outside world gets noisier, but you, in turn, get quieter. You begin to notice simple things more deeply. A quiet morning with warm sunlight. A conversation that lingers in the heart. A memory that resurfaces, not for pain, but for peace. These are the richest treasures of late life, not things you own, but moments you feel. The desire for more gives way to the desire for meaning. And that's not weakness, it's wisdom. Looking back without regret. Looking ahead with intention. Reflection in your 80s isn't just about nostalgia. It's about integration. Making peace with your past. Honoring your experiences. Forgiving what hurt. Celebrating what shaped you. You start asking different questions. What kind of impact have I made? What stories will I leave behind? What do I want my family to remember, not about what I did, but who I was? These questions aren't heavy. They're clarifying. They guide your choices and shape the legacy you carry forward, even in the smallest acts of love, grace, and kindness. The power of presence over productivity. One of the great gifts of growing older is learning that being is just as valuable as doing. Your presence, your attention, your wisdom, your patience is a gift to those around you. You don't need to move fast or do more. Just by listening deeply, loving intentionally, or sharing a story, you're creating ripples that outlast the moment. This stage of life becomes less about ambition and more about authenticity. You stop pretending, you stop competing. You start becoming fully yourself, and that self has so much to offer. Simple practices for a more meaningful life. 1. Reflect often. You don't need to write a memoir, but journaling your thoughts, recording your voice, or just taking 10 minutes to reflect in silence can deepen your understanding of what matters most. 2. Express gratitude. Make it a daily ritual. One thing you're grateful for. One person you appreciate. One memory that makes you smile. Gratitude rewires the brain for joy and softens the sharp edges of aging. 3. Stay spiritually connected. Whether through faith, meditation, nature, or quiet prayer, connecting to something greater than yourself adds peace and purpose. It reminds you that your story fits within something much bigger. 4. Share your wisdom. Your stories have power. They carry lessons, humor, and healing. Don't keep them locked inside. Share them with your children, your grandchildren, or your community. You are a living library. The bottom line: you are the legacy. At 80, life is no longer about building a name, it's about becoming a presence. Your worth isn't tied to what you do. It's reflected in how you live, how you love, and what you pass down, not in money or objects, but in character, insight, and truth. In the stillness, there is power. In reflection, there is healing. In you, there is more than enough. Conclusion: you're not getting old, you're becoming more you. If you've made it to 80, let's pause for a moment and call it what it is: a miracle. You've walked through wars and weddings. You've held new lives and said goodbye to others. You've built, broken, healed, lost, grown, and started over more than once. You've outlived storms that would have crushed lesser spirits. So not this stage of life isn't something to hide from. It's something to stand inside of, proud, grounded, fully awake. Yes, your muscles may soften. Yes, your mind may slow. Your social world may shrink, your senses may fade. But through all of it, something truer emerges. You, as you are, not for what you do, but for who you've become. After 80, you don't chase time. You honor it. You don't impress. You impact. You don't hurry. You feel. And that, my friend, is not a loss. That's a gift. So whatever changes, come welcome them. Not with fear. Not with shame. But with the quiet confidence of someone who's earned every wrinkle, every scar, every story. Your turn. Reflect. Connect. Share. If this journey spoke to you, don't let it end here. Leave a comment below. Tell us which change resonated with you the most. What have you learned from aging that you wish someone younger knew? Share this with someone you love. A friend. A parent. A grandparent. A caregiver. Let this be the conversation starter that brings you closer. Subscribe or follow for more. We're building a community that celebrates aging, not hides from it. Because growing older should never mean growing invisible. Ready for more insights on healthy aging, mental clarity, senior wellness, and graceful living beyond 80? Subscribe now and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss what's coming next. This isn't the end of your story. It's the part where it gets quieter. And somehow, even more meaningful. Thank you for spending this time with me. Now go live today not like someone who's old, but like someone who's finally free.